The first trailer was made in November 1913 by Niels Granlund, the advertising manager for the Marcus Loew theatre chain, and he made a short promotional film for the musical The Pleasure Seekers, Winter Garden Theatre on Broadway. It contained rehearsal footage. It showed what audiences could expect. It was made with the purpose of tempting the audience to come and view the show. In this basic form, it was the first trailer. Kathleen was a film serial which was a 13-episode serial. It was first released on the 29th of December 1913. It is considered the first of the cliffhanger serials. The Adventures of Kathleen was the second serial ever made by an American film studio. It is the first serial to have a sequence to encourage people to see it. Film trailers this year as promotions would play after the film played, which is how they got their name trailer, as they came on after the film played. Most of the promotions were produced by theatres, but by 1916 movie studios started releasing upcoming movies. Paramount was the first to create a department to create trailers for upcoming projects. The first film trailers were pretty basic, and it was a scene taken from the movie, which main focus was the stars, action in the scene, and romance, with lots of titles appearing on the scene with a voice-over narrator reading out the titles. The Jazz Singer was a 7-minute trailer, what changed trailers forever. It had a man step in front of a black curtain and talked to the audience using a synchronized soundtrack.
I am privileged to say a few words to you.
The fact sound was in film made it a lot more appealing and interesting to the audience. This also made film as a whole more dimensional. There was very little money in the trailer making and renting business for studios, but a group of businessmen figured out a way to make money from trailers. When they did this, they created a company that had a monopoly on movie trailers for nearly 4 decades, as they were the only ones in the business. This was known as the National Screen Service. The NSS opened an office in New York City in 1990 by Herman Robbins. What the office did was take stills, spliced in titles, and sold these trailers to movie theatres, and they didn't ask permission from the filmmakers. However, filmmakers didn't seem to mind so much that this was happening. Lots of studios signed deals to submit their films to the NSS to make into trailers, as it was good publicity for them. 1940s, the NSS in the 1940s moved to paper and poster advertising, and have contracts with all the major Hollywood studios. The NSS make money through signing movie theatre owners to a contract. NSS rent out their poster and trailer needs on a week-by-week basis, and the NSS take a same royalty to the studio. A big company in the film business may try to make their own trailer occasionally. However, it was mainly the NSS who made the trailers, as they were most dominant during the 1920s and 60s. They created template-style trailer, which they used specific styles which were making the trailer. They were very basic. In the 1960s, directors wanted to have a bigger impact on their trailers. This meant the NSS was not as useful as before. The trailers started to focus on other things like the stars of the show and also the story behind the film. Film directors in the 1960s started to have more interest in making stylish trailers, which started to affect the NSS, as they were no longer going to them to make the trailers, as they had other plans instead. NSS started to lose its dominance in the 1970s and 80s, as there was less space for poster advertising. The trailers were most focused on story and actors. Everything is seen as a selling point. Casablanca has a lot of similarities to modern trailers, as it has lots of cuts between scenes, using edits. It also has dramatic music, what is seen a lot in trailers now. It also has a voice-over, what tells a story about the film, and we sometimes still see that in trailers that happen today. Alfred Hitchcock was one of the most famous film directors of all time. Psycho was one of his biggest movies, which had a very interesting plot in film, and this impacted film history as the protagonist we thought gets killed off before the film was halfway finished. Hitchcock was very secretive over his movies to keep them a surprise to watch. Actors didn't do publicity interviews, and trailers gave away very few details about the film. Hitchcock wanted to keep his films low profile in order for them to surprise the audiences that were watching. Stanley Kubrick was a famous film director. He experiments with how far he could push a trailer format with teaser from the film oh my god. For teasers from the film Lolita. Fast cutting became the normal by 1990s. In the 1970s and 80s, there was less space for poster advertising. Due to this, the NSS started to fall apart, and movie studios and production companies started to take control over promotion for their productions rather than the NSS just creating trailers for them. Jaws is one of the most well-known films, and it is very important in film history. It opened in 464 theatres on the 25th of June 1975. It grew bigger within a month. It was in 675 theatres. Jaws made a box office of $7 million in just the first weekend, which it ended up making $470 million worldwide, and was the highest grossing box office film until Star Wars overtook it 2 years later. Jaws was a blockbuster film. The strategy was high investment in marketing, and this created a new way of marketing and making the trailers a big part of the focus, which is what we see in today's. Companies started to spend more money on trailers due to the success of films like Jaws. 1996, a teaser trailer for Independence Day came out on one of the biggest events in America, the Super Bowl, which gets millions of views each year. 138 million people watched the 1996 Super Bowl live. It was a money shot of the White House getting destroyed in this teaser trailer. This started a money shot trend for trailers. 20th Century Fox paid $1.3 million to have the teaser trailer on the Super Bowl. This was a good investment, as Independence Day took $306 million in that summer and made American blockbuster history. It also was a special moment, as it showed how powerful one shot could be for a movie. Century Fox also set an example of how much impact a trailer could have for a film. A trailer will be more successful depending on how much exposure it gets, so the placement of a trailer has an impact on the success of a film. Modern trailers have to be so precise with what things they pick for the trailer. Music is in almost every trailer you see now, and it always links to the scenes they are showing. Like in Avengers Infinity War, the trailer has music in which starts off slow, and it sounds kind of sad and depressing, and we see sad and depressing scenes throughout the first bit. Then it starts to slowly pick up pace when they are starting fighting and there is action, and towards the very end we see the title, and then we see the Avengers theme song play. Due to trailers being online, it makes it easier for people to judge them, as they can replay them as many times as they wish. So every little thing in the trailer will be judged on. So if there's any mistakes, this could be very bad for the film and give it a bad reputation. And theories may be made about the film depending on what happens. Also, everything on the internet normally stays on the internet for almost eternity. So everything must be exactly right in order for the film to have a success.